So we're going to want to create this data here into something that looks like this. We've got neat titles and headers. We've got totals. And we've also got this bar chart. So the first thing you're going to be asked to do is to copy and paste this data. And to do that, you're going to left click and you're going to drag your cursor over it all. You can see it's turned dark and we've got a green outline. You're then going to copy and paste this, and to do it you're going to right click on your mouse and press copy. Have a new spreadsheet open, so here's my spreadsheet, and you're going to paste it. You can either right click and press paste, or you've got the paste option up here. So I've right clicked and now I've pasted. So as you can see, it cuts off some of my information. Ginger nuts and custard creams aren't showing. So what we can do is just double click in between each column. Anything that goes down is a column and anything that goes across is a row. So let's have a look. We need to add ourselves a total. So I'm going to click here in F1 and I'm going to write total. So to get our total, and we're looking at the total number of bourbons sold for all the weeks, we're going to go to function. This here means insert function. And when we click on it, it will bring us up this box. We're going to make sure we're using the sum function. So it's highlighted in blue and we click OK. And then we find the data we want it to sum. So this means it's going to add all of the data up in this line here. So I can simply go over to my spreadsheet and press on it, and I'm left clicking and I'm holding that down on the data I want. So we can see that B2 to E2 is highlighted. And if I press OK, we can see the total is 49. So we have 10 plus 12 plus 15 plus 12 equals 49. So we know 49 bourbon biscuits have been sold over a total of 4 weeks. Now we want to know the data for the rest of it. So how many ginger nuts were sold in total over the 4 weeks? How many rich teas, custard creams and Jaffa cakes were sold over the 4 weeks? So instead of doing the same thing again by clicking on the function button and selecting sum, what we're going to do this time is simply drag this cell down. You'll notice I have this square in the bottom right hand corner of this cell, and that's because I've highlighted the cell. I can click on any cell and I have that option. So we can see the formula is up here. I'm going to press and hold on the square in the bottom right hand corner, and when I drag it down, it will automatically enter this sum into all of these fields, all these cells. So I'm going to click on it, and we know that we're on it because my plus button has gone thin. I'm pressing down on my left hand on the left mouse, and I'm going to drag down. And I can see the highlighted row because my green is moving, my green outline. When I let go, we can see that we have now all the totals for all of the 4 weeks of biscuits sold. Let's try that again, but this time let's find out how many biscuits were sold in weeks 1, 2 and 3. So let's do it for this one. So we're going to say total biscuits sold per week. Now you can see that my information doesn't all fit in this cell. It hasn't gone into cell B, into row B, column B, sorry. It's still in A, it's just overlapping. So what I can do is go in between each column, double click, and it automatically makes it bigger for us. So we need to find that sum function again. So we're going to find out how many biscuits were sold per week, so in total. So we want to add our bourbon, our ginger nuts, our rich tea, custard cream and Jaffa cakes all together. So again, we're going to find that sum function. We're making sure the cell we want the information to go into is here. We're going to click the insert function button, which is this FX at the top. It's selected on sum already for us, and we can select OK. This time we're going to go and find the data we want. So you can see that I don't have to click in this big square. I can come out of it and I can press and hold on the left of the mouse and drag my data down. So again, it says B2 to B6, and that's exactly what we want. So we're going to click OK. So now we know that the total biscuits sold in week 1 was 55. What about week 2, week 3 and week 4? Well, we don't need to repeat that sum function. Just as we did here for this total, we can use the square in the bottom right hand corner, pressing on our left part of the mouse, and we're going to drag it across. And we can see that green bar is highlighting. Once I let go of that left hand mouse, it autofills for us. So we now know through those quick and easy steps, by dragging and dropping and copying that formula, that week 2 sold 31 biscuits, week 3 sold 47, and week 4 sold 41. Now let's have a look at adding a title. We've put our spreadsheet data really high up in the top, so there's nowhere for me to add a title. But what I can do is add a new row here. So I'm going to right click on the number 1 and it says insert, and I'm just going to click insert and we've got a new row. So I can just put my title here as biscuits. Ooh. And what we're going to do is drag it across and we're going to center it. We've got a merge and center option here in home, in merge and center, and it makes it a nice big title for us. Once we've done that, we want to make this in bold and perhaps make our title a little bit bigger, as it may ask us to do that in the exam. And we also want our biscuits here to be bold as well. So we're going to click on bold at the top here. What would be really nice as well is to have a partition between total and total biscuits sold per week. So to do that, we can simply drag and highlight the information we want. And what we can do is add a border. And just up here, we've got a borders option. We're going to click on that. We'll have a bottom border and we'll have a right border. When we click off, we can see now we've got a bottom and a right border. So our totals are clear. Let's have a look at creating a bar chart. So now we've managed to create our data, we've copied and pasted the information given to us, we've created a title, we've created week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and also a total title. Our biscuits are down here with the total biscuits sold per week, and we've made them bold. We've added a lovely border just to show that there is a difference in the data. This is where our totals are, and this is where our information to add to those totals are. We have had a look at how you create a sum, how we add up all this data, and instead of doing it every single time, we simply drag it down. So let's take a look at how we add a bar chart. Sometimes you might not need to add a bar chart and it could be a pie chart, but it'll be for you to decide what the best chart is. In this case, a bar chart will be very, very good to look at. So we're going to have a look at Insert, just at the top next to the Home button. When we go to Insert, we've got an option here that says Recommended Charts. Like I said, your bar chart will probably be the best option to go to. So you're going to select here, and we're going to go for this one here, a classic 2D column. Now what we need to do is select our data. We can see that our chart is highlighted, but it's empty. Going up here, we can see it says Select Data. This means that we can now go within the spreadsheet and select the data we want. So for example, I'm going to highlight week 1 and I'm going to highlight my biscuits. I'm going down. So once I've done that, I will press OK. And you can see, and you can see that I now have my bar chart here. I can drag my bar chart along and pop it anywhere I want to. Make sure when you are dragging it that you don't click in the cells, because that will edit the data and you can move this about just as I did a minute ago. Clicking by the outside will let you move it around. So what we've got here is our bourbon biscuits, our ginger nuts, our rich teas, and our custard cream and our Jaffa cakes. And we can see, using this bar chart, how many biscuits have been sold and what the highest is. And it's a great visual check. Straight away we know custard creams are the favourite biscuits for week 1. But we need to add a little bit more data here. So if we click on our bar chart, we then have this plus button to the right, and that's Chart Elements. We want to add a title, so let's add some axes titles. Where I did move it earlier, I've messed up a little bit, so let's move it over. There we are, much better. So axes titles, we're going to simply call this one Number of Biscuits Sold per week. And here we're going to type in type of biscuits. So now when you look at this, you know you're looking at the number of biscuits sold per week and the types of biscuits. Sometimes you might be asked to add a legend. So let me show you what that is. If we click the plus button, we're going to go down and find legend. You can see that this week 1 here has now appeared. This might mean that we need to change our week 1 title up here, because we know week 1 is the blue bar. Let's add some more data so you can really see how the legend works. Let's go back to the top and we are going to add some more data. So to add some more data, to show us what the legend really does, we're going to double click on here. And on here I meant our bar chart. And you can see when I double click on it that the top bar changes. Let me show you that again. Quick double click and the top bar changes. We're going to go back up to our select data and we can see this is highlighted. It's in grey. So if I tap on it, it's not highlighted. And if I pull it across, we can highlight it again. I'm going to have this highlighted because I'm going to replace this data with week 2, week 3 and week 4. So let's get it all in there. So this time I'm simply going to go across all of the data rather than week 1. So I've gone up to week 4 and I've gone up to Jaffa cake. If I press OK, we can see here This is our legend. We bring it up a little bit. We can see here that on week, what is the bestseller. So week 1 is blue. We can see that in week 1 here, custard creams sold really well. We can see week 2 is orange. There's no orange for custard creams, so they didn't sell many at all. And that's right, because here we can see custard creams had 0 in week 2. Week 3 is grey, and we can see that we have a few sales, and the legend tells us that week 4 is yellow, and we can see those sales. So that's what a legend does. Let's just go back to viewing our figures in week 1. You might want to change the title up here as well. So it's week 1 of what? This is week 1 of biscuits sold.